torn backpack thrown to the side of the road, a shadow too small to be alone on the road, and a pair of frightened eyes gleaming under the headlight of a Harley that should have kept going, but didn't. Because when he saw the bruises on her wrist, covered by bracelets that were too colorful to be innocent, he knew that night wouldn't end without bloodshed. Before we continue, comment below where you're listening to this story from. And if this story resonates with you, make sure you're subscribed. Because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. Interstate 40 cut through New Mexico like a gray scar under the orange sky of dusk. The warm wind carried dust and silence. The old biker sped along without haste, leaving kilometers behind, without a destination, just movement. The Harley purred softly, faithful as always. He wasn't looking for anything. He never looked for anything. But it was when he passed the 227-mile marker that he saw it. A small, hunched silhouette stood beside a faded sign, backpack at his feet, arm outstretched, hitchhiking, dark hair tousled by the wind. He couldn't have been more than 16 years old. He slowed down. Not because he wanted to, because something about the way she was standing, tense, ready to run, triggered an old alarm inside him. He stopped the motorcycle 10 meters away. He slowly took off his helmet. He stood there, just watching. She didn't move. She looked at him with suspicion, but also with despair. "Are you going to stand there, or are you going to say what you need to?" he asked, his voice hoarse and tired. She swallowed hard. "I need a ride. To Albuquerque." He looked at the backpack. Old, torn at two seams, patched up with duct tape. "Running away from what?" She stiffened. "I didn't run away from anything. I just need to get to Albuquerque." He didn't insist. He could recognize a lie when he saw it. But he also knew fear. And that girl was soaked in it. "Go upstairs. But don't do anything stupid." She hesitated. For a second it seemed she was going to refuse. But then she picked up her backpack and walked over to him. She climbed onto the back of the motorcycle carefully, like someone who had never ridden one before. He accelerated. The wind swallowed any chance of conversation for the first 20 minutes. She clung tightly to his leather jacket, and he could feel the trembling in her fingers. It wasn't just from the cold. As daylight began to fade completely, he stopped at a secluded gas station. Two dogs slept near the pump. A neon sign blinked. "Open 24 hours. I'm going to get gas. Do you want something to eat?" She shook her head, but her stomach growled loudly. He went into the store without saying anything. He came back with 2 sandwiches, a bottle of water, and a chocolate bar. He gave it all to her. "Come." She picked it up slowly, as if expecting him to ask for something in return. He didn't. He just filled the tank, lit a cigarette, and stood there, leaning against the motorcycle, watching the empty road. It was when she raised her arm to open the sandwich that he saw it. The colorful bracelets slipped down, and there they were. Bruises, purple, yellowish, old and new, fingerprints. She realized he had seen her. She quickly tugged at her sleeve, but it was too late. The old biker threw his cigarette on the ground. He stepped slowly. "Who did this?" She didn't answer. "I asked who did it." His voice was low, but heavy. She looked away. "Nobody. I fell." He took a step forward. "Don't lie to me, girl." She was trembling now, not from fear of him, from something else, something deeper. And then, in an almost inaudible voice, she said, "My stepfather." He said nothing. He just stood there, motionless, his fists clenched inside the leather pockets. The wind blew gently, dragging dust across the cracked asphalt. The neon light of the gas station blinked red and blue, casting crooked shadows on the two of them. She was still holding the sandwich. She hadn't taken a bite. "How long has it been?" he asked, his voice controlled but sharp. She shrugged. "I don't know. About 2 years, since my mother married him." He nodded, slowly, as if processing each word, taking in every detail. "Does your mother know?" She gave a short, bitter laugh. "She knows. She's just pretending she doesn't." Silence. He turned his back, walked to the Harley, and placed his hands on the handlebars. He took a deep breath. Once, twice, trying to control what was rising inside him like, "Lova, are you going back there?" he asked without looking at her. "No." "Is anyone in Albuquerque?" "Break. I have an aunt. She said I could stay with her, but I don't know if she'll still accept me. We haven't spoken in a long time." He turned around. "What's her name?" "Why?" "Because I'm going to take you to her, and I'm going to make sure you're okay." She stared at him, incredulous. "You don't even know me. I don't need to know you to know that you don't deserve what they're doing to you." She looked away. Her throat was tight, but she didn't cry. It seemed she had already cried all she could. He handed over the spare helmet. "Put that on. We're going to continue on to Albuquerque. But first, you're going to tell me your stepfather's name." She hesitated. "Why?" "Because if he comes after you, I want to know who to look for." The tone was calm, but it carried a promise. She whispered the name. He memorized it, as one memorizes a sentence. They continued down the road. Night had fallen completely. The stars appeared cold and distant. The Harley cut through the darkness like a blade, and the roar of the engine was the only thing that filled the void. They stopped at a cheap motel near Santa Rosa, a forgotten place with empty rooms and a receptionist who barely looked up when he paid for 2 separate rooms. "You stay in the room next to mine. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone. Understood?" She nodded. He handed over the key. "We'll leave early tomorrow." She stood, still for a moment, holding the key, looking at him as if she wanted to say something. But she didn't. She just went into the room and closed the door. He stood outside for a few minutes. He heard the latch click. He heard her footsteps on the other side. Only then did he go into his own room. He lay down on the bed without taking off his boots. He stared at the cracked ceiling, his hands crossed behind his head, thinking. He had seen this before, many times. Broken girls, silenced women, children who learned too soon that the world could be cruel. He could never save everyone. But I always tried. In the morning he knocked on her door. No answer. It hit again. "Girl, wake up." Nothing. He felt his chest tighten. He turned the doorknob. Locked. Opened the door. Silence. He stepped back. He took a breath, and then he kicked the door hard. The wood gave way. The lock popped off. He came in quickly, and he saw her, sitting in the corner of the room, hugging her own legs, trembling. Eyes wide, cell phone in hand. "He called," she whispered. "My stepfather. He said he knows where I am. He said he's coming to get me." The old biker stood still. He looked at his cell phone, at her, and then, with frightening calm, he extended his hand. "Give me the phone." She handed it over. He looked at the screen. 3 missed calls, 2 voicemails, and 1 text message. "You won't escape me. I'll find you. And when I do, you'll wish you'd never left home." He clenched his fist around the cell phone. The screen cracked, and then, in a low voice, almost a whisper, he said, "He won't find you." She looked at him. "But if you come," he continued, raising his eyes to her, cold as ice, "I'll be waiting." He dropped the broken cell phone on the bed and left the room without saying anything else. She stayed there, still trembling, but now with something different in her eyes, something that seemed like hope mixed with fear. 10 minutes later, he returned with 2 cups of black coffee and a paper bag of stale bread. He handed her a cup. "Drink up. We'll be out of here in 5 minutes." She scooped up the coffee with both hands, as if she needed the warmth to keep herself whole. He said he knows where I am. How can he know? The old biker sat on the edge of the bed, looking out the dusty window. The parking lot was empty, just the Harley and 2 old cars. He's bluffing. Or he tracked your phone before you hung up. She swallowed hard. I didn't turn it off. I just put it on silent. He turned his head slowly. His expression was that of someone who had seen people make the same mistake 1,000 times. So he knows exactly where you are. Panic gripped her again. I didn't know. I swear I didn't. Calm down, he interrupted, firmly but without anger. It's not your fault, but now we need to move fast. He picked up the broken cell phone, walked to the bathroom, threw it in the toilet and flushed. The device disappeared with a swirl of water. Problem solved. She blinked, still processing. But what if my aunt tries to call me? When we get to Albuquerque, you call her from a payphone. For now, you don't exist. Got it? She nodded slowly. He finished his coffee in one gulp. Grab your things. We're going out the back exit. They left the motel before sunrise. They took back roads, avoiding the interstate. The sky was a mix of orange and gray, and the surrounding desert seemed endless. She was quieter now, clinging to his waist, her face pressed against the worn leather of his jacket. He felt her weight, too light for someone who should be experiencing adolescence without fear. They stopped at a secluded diner in the middle of nowhere, the kind of place where nobody asked questions. Only 3 occupied tables, an elderly couple, a lone truck driver, and them. They sat in the corner. She ordered pancakes. He just ordered coffee. Aren't you going to eat? She asked. I'm not hungry. She looked at him for a moment, studying him, as if trying to understand who this man was who had appeared out of nowhere and decided to protect her. Why are you doing this? She asked quietly. He didn't answer immediately. He kept looking out the window at the empty road outside. Because someone did it for me once, a long time ago. And you're paying it back? He gave a half smile. Sad. Something like that. She bit her lip. He's going to come after me. I know he will. I know. And you're not afraid? He stared at her. His eyes were gray like the road, tired but steady. I am afraid, but there are things that are worth more than fear. She looked away, blinking rapidly. The pancakes arrived. She ate slowly, in silence. He watched the diner entrance in the reflection of the window. Every car that passed, every movement, he was always ready. When they were finished, he paid in cash and they left. The sun was already high. The heat was starting to take its toll. How much further are we to Albuquerque? She asked. About 4 hours, if we don't stop. She nodded. They were about to get on the motorcycle when they heard the noise, an engine, powerful, approaching quickly. He turned his head, a black pickup truck, tinted windows, coming straight down the back road. Get on the motorcycle, now. She froze. Is that him? I don't know, but I'm not going to wait to find out. He started the Harley. The roar filled the air. It climbed quickly and he accelerated. The pickup truck accelerated as well. They drove down the dirt road. Dust rose behind them like smoke. The pickup truck pulled up behind them, honking, accelerating. Hold on tight, he shouted. She squeezed his waist tightly. He veered onto a side trail. The Harley skidded, but he regained control. The pickup truck tried to follow, but it was too heavy. It got stuck in the sand. They disappeared around the bend. They continued for another 20 minutes until they were sure they had lost their pursuer. They stopped under an abandoned bridge. He turned off the motorcycle. He was breathing heavily. She went downstairs. Her legs were trembling. Was that him? She asked, her voice faltering. He looked back. The road was empty. I don't know, but we're not going to take any chances. She hugged herself, trying to calm down. He leaned against the motorcycle. He lit a cigarette. His hands were still steady. We'll get to Albuquerque, I promise. She looked at him, and for the first time, he believed. They stood under the bridge for almost an hour. The Silence was broken only by the wind whistling through the cracked concrete beams and the occasional rustling of dry bushes around them. He smoked 2 cigarettes in quick succession, his eyes fixed on the direction from which they had come. She sat on a rock, hugging her knees, still trying to catch her breath. "We can't stay here forever," she said softly. He threw the cigarette butt on the ground and extinguished it with his boot. "I know. What if he really knows where I'm going? Then we'll change the plan." She frowned. "Like this?" He walked up to her, crouched down in front of her and got himself at her eye level. "Where exactly does your aunt live?" "North Valley, near the Rio Grande." He nodded. "We're not going straight there. I'll drop you off in a safe place first. I'll check if anyone's watching her house. If there is, I'll handle it. If not, I'll take you. What if it does?" He didn't answer, but his expression said it all. She swallowed hard. You would kill someone for me." He remained silent for a long moment. Then he stood up, looking towards the horizon. "I've killed for less." The coldness in his voice wasn't a threat. It was simply a fact. She didn't ask anything else. They continued their journey. They avoided main roads. They cut through forgotten villages, empty deserts, dirt tracks that barely appeared on the map. The Harley devoured kilometers patiently, and the sun slowly descended, painting the sky red and purple. As night fell, they stopped in a small town called Moriarty. It had a roadside motel, a bar with broken neon lights, and a wooden church that looked abandoned. He rented a room. Just one this time. "You sleep in the bed. I'll stay in the chair." She didn't argue. She went into the bathroom and took a hot shower that lasted almost half an hour. When she came out, he was sitting by the window looking out at the empty parking lot. He had a gun resting on his thigh. She hadn't seen it before. "Do you always carry a weapon?" he asked hesitantly. "Always. Have you used it yet?" He looked at her. "Yes." She sat on the edge of the bed wrapped in the thin motel towel. "I didn't want anyone to die because of me. No one is going to die, unless they try to hurt you again." She took a deep breath. "I just want to disappear. Start over, forget all of this." He put the gun back in its holster and stood up. He grabbed an old blanket from the closet and threw it over her. "You'll make it, but first you need to get there alive." She lay down. She pulled the blanket up to her chin. She closed her eyes, but she didn't fall asleep. He stayed awake all night, sitting, watching, like a silent guard dog. Early in the morning, he woke her with a light touch on her shoulder. "Time to go." She got up, still sleepy. She put on her usual clothes. He handed her an old jacket. "Put this on. It's cold outside." She put it on. The jacket smelled of leather, smoke, and the road. His scent. They set off before sunrise. The Harley's low rumble cut through the morning mist. They rode for another 2 hours until they reached the outskirts of Albuquerque. He stopped in a quiet neighborhood near a park. He turned off the motorcycle. "Stay here. I'm going to your aunt's house to see if everything is clean." She squeezed his arm. "What if I don't have it? Then I'll come back, and we can think about something else." She let go. Slowly, he left. His aunt's house was on a quiet street with old trees and low fences. He drove by on his motorcycle once, twice, observing. Everything seemed normal, but then he saw a black pickup truck, parked 3 houses down, the same as yesterday. He stopped his motorcycle on the other side of the street. He waited. 5 minutes. 10. The driver's door opened. A man got out, tall, broad shoulders, tattoos on his neck, plaid shirt, dirty jeans, small, angry eyes. He walked to his aunt's house. He knocked on the door. Hard. A woman opened the door, in her early 50s, gray, hair. Frightened. The man said something, loudly, threateningly. The woman shook her head. She tried to close the door. He held on. The old biker turned off the motorcycle, he took off his helmet, and he began to walk. He crossed the street with slow, measured steps, like someone who is in no hurry but also doesn't stray from the path. His boots made a dry sound on the asphalt. The morning wind carried the scent of wet grass and distant smoke. The man was still holding the door. The woman tried to push it back, but he was stronger. His voice echoed through the quiet street. "I know she's coming here. Where is she? I don't know anything. Get out of here before I call the police. Call me. I'm her stepfather. I have every right to pick her up." "Right? After what you did to her?" He gripped the doorframe even harder. "Be careful what you say, old woman." That's when the old biker got close enough. "Take your hand off the door." The stepfather turned his head. He looked the stranger up and down. Grey beard, worn skin, calloused hands, eyes that had seen violence up close. "Who are you?" Someone is asking politely. "Take your hand off the door." The stepfather let out a short, mocking laugh. "Or what? Are you going to hit me?" The old biker didn't answer. He just stood there, waiting. The stepfather stepped forward. He puffed out his chest, trying to intimidate. "Listen here, old man. This isn't your problem. That girl is my stepdaughter. I came to get her. And nobody's going to stop me. She doesn't want to come back. Screw what she wants. She's underage. I'm responsible for her." The old biker tilted his head slightly. "Responsible? Is that what you call yourself?" The stepfather frowned. "What are you talking about?" "From the bruises, from the marks, from the fear she carries in her eyes." The stepfather's face turned red. Anger, but also something resembling poorly disguised guilt. "You don't know shit. I know enough." The stepfather took another step. Now, they were less than a meter apart. "Get out of my way before I break you in half, old man." The biker didn't move. "Try it." For a second, the stepfather hesitated. Something in the old man's gaze made him think twice. But pride was stronger. He advanced with his right fist. The old man dodged. Simple, quick. She grabbed her stepfather's arm, twisted it, turned her body around, and threw the man to the ground with a swift movement. The stepfather fell backward. The air left his lungs all at once. Before he could react, the old man was on top of him, knee on his chest, hand gripping his throat. "I'm only going to say this once." The voice was low, calm, but full of promise. "You're going to get in that pickup truck. You're going back to where you came from, and you're never going to look for that girl again. Understand?" The stepfather tried to push, but the weight was too firm. "He is going to screw it up." The old man squeezed a little harder. "Did you understand?" The stepfather choked. His eyes widened. He nodded, desperate. The old man let go. He stood up slowly. The stepfather rolled onto his side, coughing, and put his hand to his neck. "You son of a bitch! I'm going to sue you. I'm going to—" "Nothing will happen." The old man pulled the gun from its holster. He didn't point it. He just left it visible. "Because if you come back here, I won't give you a chance to open your mouth." The stepfather looked at the gun, at the old man, at the aunt, who was still in the doorway, pale, in shock. He stood up, staggering. He spat on the ground. "This doesn't end here." "It's over," the old man replied, cold as ice. "Now get out of here." The stepfather looked for another second. Then he turned his back. He got in the pickup truck. He accelerated and disappeared around the bend. The old man put away the gun. He took a deep breath. He turned to his aunt. "Are you all right, ma'am?" She nodded, trembling. Who are you?" "Someone who brought their niece back." "Her?" Eyes filled with tears. "Is she okay? She's alive and safe for now." He turned his back and started walking back to the motorcycle. "Wait," she called. He stopped. "Thank you. Seriously, I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't. No need to thank me. Just take care of her. And if he comes back, call the police. Don't try to handle it alone." She nodded. He got on his motorcycle, he started it, and he went back to where he had left the girl. She was sitting on the park bench, hugging her backpack, her eyes fixed on the street. When she saw the Harley approaching, she jumped up. "So?" she asked anxiously. He stopped the motorcycle. He took off his helmet. "Your aunt is waiting for you." She blinked. "And him?" "He left." "Forever?" He looked at her, seriously. "I hope so." She took a deep breath, relieved, but also scared. "What if he comes back? Then you call the police. And me?" She frowned. "What?" "I don't even have your number." He took a crumpled piece of paper from his pocket. He scribbled something on it. He handed it to her. "It's a message phone. Leave a message. I'll receive it." She held the paper as if it were gold. "Thanks." He nodded. "Go. Your aunt is worried." She took a step. She stopped. She turned, and she hugged him, strong. He stood there, unsure what to do. Then slowly he placed his hand on her back. "Everything will be all right," he said softly. She stepped away. Her eyes were red. "You saved my life." He shook his head. "You saved your own life. I just gave you a ride." She smiled. For the first time. And then he left. He stood there, watching her walk away until she disappeared around the corner. Then he started the motorcycle, and he continued on his way, alone again, like always. He drove for 3 days without stopping anywhere for more than one night. Back roads, cheap motels, roadside diners with weak coffee and burnt toast. Always on the move, always alone. It wasn't loneliness. It was habit. The Harley purred steadily, faithfully. The landscapes changed, desert, mountain, plain. But the emptiness remained the same. He didn't care. He was used to emptiness, inside and out. It was on the 4th night, in a forgotten motel near Flagstaff, Arizona, that the phone rang. He looked at the old device, strapped to the motorcycle handlebars. Few people had that number, and no one called without reason. He answered. "Hello?" Silence on the other end. Heavy breathing. Then, a trembling voice. "He's back." His chest tightened. "Where are you?" "At my aunt's house." He showed up again. He tried to break down the door. The police came, but he ran away before they could. They said they can't do anything unless he actually breaks in. He closed his eyes. He took a deep breath. "Are you safe now?" "For now. But I'm scared he won't give up." "I know. Break. Can you come back?" He looked at the empty road ahead, at the motorcycle, at the life he had always lived. Rootless, without promises, without return. "But I had made a promise I'll be back." "When?" "Tomorrow morning." She let out a relieved sigh. "Thank you. Seriously, I had no one else to call. Hang in there. I'll take care of this." He hung up. He stood still for a moment, looking at the starry sky, thinking. He knew what he needed to do, and I knew it wouldn't be pretty. He arrived in Albuquerque at noon. The sun was blazing. He parked his motorcycle 2 blocks before his aunt's house. He walked the rest of the way. He knocked on the door. The aunt opened the door, pale, sunken eyes. "He came back last night. He stayed in the street shouting, saying he was going to take her no matter what. Where is she?" "In her room. Locked in. Doesn't want to come out." He went inside. He went up the stairs. He knocked lightly on the door. "It is me." The door opened. Her eyes were swollen. Her hair was a mess. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "You came." He said he would come. She threw herself into his arms, trembling. "I'm so scared." He held her tight. He let her collapse. Then, carefully, he pulled her away and looked into her eyes. "This ends today." "How?" "I'm going to find him, and I'm going to make sure he never comes back." She swallowed hard. "Are you going to kill him?" He didn't answer. "I don't want you to go to jail because of me." "I am not going." "But Trust me." She looked at him, and after a moment she nodded. He went downstairs. He passed by his aunt. "Lock everything up. Don't open it for anyone. Until I get back. What if the police show up? Even better." He left. It wasn't difficult to find the stepfather. Men like him always returned to the same places. Dirty bars, illegal gambling, people who didn't ask questions. He found the pickup truck parked outside a bar called El Coyote in the dirtiest part of town. He went in. The place smelled of stale beer and sweat. 3 men were playing pool in the back. 2 drunks were at the bar. And there, sitting alone at a corner table, was he, the stepfather. He saw the old man enter. He smiled, bitterly. "I knew you were going to show up." The old man pulled up a chair. He sat down in front of him. "So now you know why I came. To threaten me again? No. To give you a choice." The stepfather crossed his arms. "What choice?" "You disappear forever, or I guarantee you'll never be able to look for anyone again." "Are you threatening to kill me?" "No, I'm giving you a way out." The stepfather gave a dry laugh. "Do you think I'm afraid of you, old man?" "It should." Silence. Then the stepfather leaned forward. "You know what your problem is? You think you're a hero, but you're not. You're just a lost old man, getting yourself into trouble that isn't yours." The old man didn't blink. "And you're a coward who hits children." The stepfather stood up. He knocked over the chair. "Repeat that." The old man stood up as well, calmly. "You heard." The stepfather stepped forward, and the old man was ready. The stepfather came at her with everything, clenched fist, blind rage, but rage makes a man predictable. The old man dodged to the side, simple, efficient. He let his stepfather pass and landed a sharp hook punch to his ribs. The man doubled over. He coughed. He turned quickly, trying to fight back. He landed a glancing punch on the old man's chin. It hurt, but he had felt worse. The old man grabbed his stepfather's arm, pulled him down and kneed him in the stomach. The man fell to his knees, choking. The others in the bar moved away. Nobody interfered. Nobody ever interfered. The old man grabbed his stepfather by the collar, lifted him to his feet, and threw him against the wall. Bottles fell. Glass shattered. "Don't you understand yet?" The old man said, his voice low and controlled. "I didn't come here to fight. I came to give you one last chance." The stepfather spat out blood. "He is going to screw it up." The old man tightened his grip. Last chance. The stepfather looked into his eyes, and for the first time he saw. It wasn't anger, it wasn't hatred, it was certain. The certainty of someone who had already done worse things, and would do it again. Okay. The stepfather breathed heavily. I'm leaving." "Where to?" "I don't know. Far away. Another state. Anywhere. And he never comes back. Never again." The old man let go. The stepfather collapsed to the floor, breathing heavily, clutching his ribs. The old man bent down. He picked up his stepfather's wallet, which had fallen. He took out his ID. He photographed it with an old cell phone. "If I see your name anywhere near her, I'll find you. And next time, there won't be any discussion." The stepfather nodded, defeated. The old man dropped his wallet on the floor. He turned his back and left. He went back to his aunt's house. He knocked on the door. The aunt opened the door, her eyes wide. "And there," he finished. "He is sure. I have." She released the breath she had been holding. "Thank God." He nodded. "Can I speak to her?" "Sure. Go upstairs." He went upstairs. He knocked on the bedroom door. "It is me." The door opened. Her face was still marked with tears, but something was different in her eyes now. "Hope." "Is it over?" she asked, her voice almost inaudible. He finished. She collapsed. She sat on the bed. She covered her face with her hands, and she cried. Not out of fear, out of relief. He stood in the doorway, unsure what to say. Then, slowly, he went inside and sat down beside her. I said nothing. He just stayed there, and that was enough. 2 hours later, he was standing on the front porch. His aunt had brought coffee. "Are you going to stay?" He shook his head. "No, I need to move on." "Where to?" "Nowhere." She smiled. Sadly, "You are a good man." "No, I'm just someone who does what needs to be done." She extended her hand. He shook it. "Thank you, from the bottom of my heart. Take care of her. I'll take care of it." He went down the steps. The girl appeared in the doorway. "Are you really leaving?" "I go. What if I need you again?" He stopped. He turned around. "You won't need it. But if you do, you know how to find me." She smiled, a small smile, but a genuine one. "Thank you for everything." He nodded. He got on the Harley, he started the engine, and he left, without looking back. Because looking back never helped anyone. 3 weeks later, the old man was somewhere in Texas. He couldn't remember the name of the town. It didn't matter. They all looked the same after a while. He stopped at a gas station. He filled up the tank. He bought water. He sat on the sidewalk smoking, watching the road. The cell phone vibrated. He got it. Message from an unknown number. It opened. It was a photograph. The girl, smiling, in her school uniform, next to her aunt, in front of a school. Below the photo, a message. "I started studying again. I'm doing well. Thank you for giving me a second chance. You will always be my hero." He stared at the photo for a long time. He didn't answer. He just saved it. He put his cell phone away, he finished his cigarette, and he continued on his way. Because that's what he did. He continued, non-stop, no promises, without expecting recognition. I just followed, helping when I could, protecting when needed, and disappearing before anyone could try to thank them. Because heroes don't stay. Heroes just pass through, and they leave the world a little better than they found it. The Harley purred softly. The wind brushed against his face. The sun set on the horizon, painting everything orange and red. He didn't know where he was going. And you didn't need to know. Because the road always knew, and he always followed. If you've made it this far, you're part of a special group of only 3% of people who watch until the end. This means you value real and impactful stories like this one. Now, before you leave, I have an urgent request. Subscribe to the channel now and activate the bell, because every day hundreds of incredible stories like this happen on American roads, and you can't miss the next one. We are about to reveal even more intense cases that will leave you breathless. And there's more. Did you see that video that's playing on your screen right now? This story will surprise you even more than the one you just watched. We're talking about a completely unexpected twist that happened in broad daylight and that nobody saw coming. Thousands of people are already commenting on the shocking ending. Don't wait, because this video could be taken down at any time due to its sensitive content. Click now and find out what happened. You'll be glad you watched it. Oh, and don't forget, comment below where you're watching from. I want to know where you're located. Your participation is essential for this community to continue growing. See you in the next story, and remember, the road is full of secrets that only the roadside protectors know.